Today, I'm going to talk about when to know that it's time to let go. Letting go is something that I speak a lot in my social media posts, in my live trainings, and in the work that I do. Not only that, it's something that I practice a lot myself. Throughout this spiritual journey that I embarked on, I had to learn to let go of a lot of things, especially the parts of me that were not serving my highest good, the parts of me that I outgrew, and also the parts of me that I thought I knew, I thought were part of my identity, but they weren't. So I had to learn to let it go. And I'm not going to say it is always an easy decision or an easy thing to do. It definitely is not. But it is necessary, in my opinion, for our spiritual awakening and for our growth, not only as individuals, but on a soul level. I feel that there isn't spiritual growth if you stick and cling on to the things that are just taking away our energy and that are blocking us from moving on and from growing. And so I find it really important that we practice the let go of a lot of things, external and internal. But the thing is, why is it hard? It is hard because we grew up hearing things like never give up, or quitting is for losers, or stick with it, or winners never quit. Who here heard this growing up? Either by your parent or your peers or even teachers, maybe during PE lessons. Who here heard this growing up? That quitting is for losers, that we shall never give up, just go, and, if we want to win, we can't quit. Apart from this pressure growing up and the fear of failing or being rejected that comes from this conditioning, besides that, then growing up, like when we became adults, we learned that we had to stick with things because if others can endure worse, why can't we fight until the end? Right? And culture is to blame for this, in my opinion. Since we were children, we were flooded by, stories and images in the media and Hollywood movies and, Disney movies that teach us that perseverance is admirable, that those that persevere are heroes. And quitting, it's a character flaw. Like, it's not good. It's being weak. So obviously we grow up and become adults with this instilled conditioning that we have to persevere no matter what. Because the purpose is for us to become heroes, not being weak, right? And then as humans, we are by nature very optimistic. We are not only optimistic, but we are also competitive. So we often think that we can manage things that other people can't, because we want to prove ourselves. We want to prove that we are heroes, that we are strong, that we are reliable, that we are determined, and we fight until the end because we are winners. Right? And then our optimistic nature just gives us that boost, even when things seem not being working out. We always find something like, oh, that person has it worse than I do. So, it's not that bad. And again, we fall into this comparison, right? But the mistake that we make by trying to be heroes in our own little stories is that we often cling on to things, to people, to situations, to careers, because we fear being judged and we fear being perceived as weak. And then we also have that fear or worry that we don't want to waste things. We don't want to waste our money. We don't want to waste our time. We don't want to waste our energy, our love. So if we have been working on for these things, letting go would be quitting. And then all of the things, love, money, time, effort, energy, would be wasted, right? You don't want to waste the money that you spent in that car that, it's been trending, and then return it or sell it for a cheaper price because you realize that you don't enjoy the driving of this car. That's not for you, right? Or we don't want to spend so many years studying for that degree and then call it quits because you feel it's not for you. So it's easier to hold on to things even if it makes us unhappy. It is easier to stick with what is familiar than to leap into the unknown. I think at some point in our lives, we feel that way, right? With either possessions or a relationship that we spend so much time trying to make it work. And then we cling on to things, always hoping that will change one day and that will pay off. And so we go on with our lives coping with unreliable partners, getting along with annoying bosses, staying in a job that sucks our energy out of us, going to social events that drain us, or staying in toxic relationships, narcissistic relationships even. And then the enemy is the comparisonitis. So we are already very unhappy and feeling lost and stuck without no way out in this situation. And then let's invite comparison to the party. And we start looking around, comparing our ability to cope with our successes with how other people cope with their success. We start questioning ourselves about how on earth they manage to get what they have, how on earth they get to the top, and I'm here in this treadmill going nowhere. You know what the answer is? By persevering, of course. That's what we believe that they are doing, because they are persevering. So we must persevere, never give up, never let go, because we want to be winners. Isn't that right? Psychological research actually shows that the more invested we are on something, meaning the more we invest time on something, or money, or energy, or love, the more we invest any of this, our effort in any of this, being financial and emotional, psychological, spiritual, the more reluctant we are of letting that thing go. Because then your mind will automatically try to wait the amount of time or resources you've invested into this situation, into this person, into this career. And obviously, on a mindset level, it will wait a lot. We can't see what we can gain if we let that thing go when we already invested so much. So the question is, when we actually know that's time to let go of something that we put so much sweat, love, and tears into? How do we know? And how do we do it when we already invested so much?